What makes you get up in the morning?
My jiu-jitsu practice.
Coffee or tea?
Mate.
And what led you into podcasting?
Environment.
What did you learn about superhumans so far?
There's superhuman in every human.
Jiu-Jitsu or Kung Fu?
Next question, please.
Bill Gates or Steve Jobs?
Bill Gates. Why did you start a media?
Because I like challenges.
An office or a home office?
I like both. Like 3 days a week in the office and then 2 days a week at home, where I can do my laundry in between.
What would you prefer, hot or cold showers?
Definitely hot.
She's quick like a cat. He likes to take it slow and steady. She likes the buzz of a crowd. He prefers one-on-one. She knows what drives the innovators of Southeast Europe. He knows how to engage them in a deep conversation. Meet Irina and Georgi, the hosts of the Recursive podcast. They come from different worlds, but share the same passion for inspiring stories. Each week, they'll take you on a journey inside the mind of a digital economy champion from Southeast Europe. Join them for inspirational stories on how to grow, learn, and think big at therecursive.com. But before we start, let's get to know them first. Find out why Irina founded a media company and why Georgi quit his job to start podcasting. Here we go.
What led you into podcasting?
Environment.
How so?
When you know people the people that you talk to most oftenly, people that you spend most time with, they have huge impact on you. And I decided that I have such an environment around me that might be useful to other people without even knowing these people, to be able to get some wisdom out of their stories, out of their experiences. So it was win-win, wasn't it?
I would call you something that I usually use as an expression for myself, a collector of people. I really like this expression because it's. I feel like I'm in a gallery and I meet so many inspiring people and I want to have them somewhere, all together. And I think a podcast might be an expression of a gallery. Okay. Tell me, what did you learn about superhumans so far?
I believe that there's superhuman in every human, within every one of us. And the super part comes from the confidence that you're born with a gift, you're born with something special, you have a dream that only you can see and feel, and you can make it come to life. It's up to you to decide that you're capable of doing it and going for it.
So you believe that everyone has a superpower?
I do.
What's yours?
Listening.
Which is the best interview that you've taken so far?
If there's a person that I would say is an absolute superhuman and he's like the model of the podcast, this is Kalin. Why? Because he's born out of Sofia, studied a lot, made it to the States, to a very nice college in Gettysburg. Then he moved to Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh. In the meantime, found marathon running, started running. So he had this physical sense that he needs to take care of his body. Then from Carnegie Mellon went to Cambridge. All of this journey costed him more than 6 figures for his education alone. Did a PhD in Cambridge and decided to go back to Veliko Trnovo and said, okay, I'm going to start doing free movement, yoga, and running exercise for my fellow citizens in Veliko Trnovo for free. Did it 50 times before anyone shows up. Then a lady with her granddaughter shows up without even knowing that he's doing this training. And then from this moment on, he starts building and building community up to the moment that he became Enlightener of the Year in Bulgaria for 2020, which was from absolute zero, from no one there in a city that's 50,000 people, to Enlightener of Bulgaria. How cool is that?
And what do you think is his superpower?
Consistency.
I so envy people who actually have this on them. They can achieve so much. I'm still struggling with mine.
It's only human. Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu or Kung Fu?
Next question, please.
Why not Kung Fu?
Because it's for show and it's cultural sport. Yeah, okay. Point me towards the best Kung Fu practitioner in the UFC.
I have no idea. I mean,
Okay.
what about Jackie Chan? Wasn't he a Kung Fu fighter?
All the Jackie Chan movies are comedies, aren't they?
They are. But somehow...
No offense to Kung Fu.
But sometimes he is like really, really wise. So I like the expression where you fight like water. Yeah.
But this is Bruce Lee.
I'm sorry.
But Bruce Lee is the teacher of Jackie Chan, so...
And they're both Kung Fu, right?
Yeah, they have some... Yeah, they
Okay.
do Kung Fu. Yeah, I have... Yeah, the problem with Kung Fu is it's just not made for fighting real people.
Kung Fu is not made... Oh,
Yeah.
And what about pandas?
I said people. It's good
made,
for pandas.
It's made for fighting pandas, right?
Yeah. When you fight, you cover your face. You don't stand like this.
Cool.
Okay.
Next question.
On a serious note,
Bill Gates or Steve Jobs?
Bill Gates.
Why? Because he's reading books.
Philanthropy.
Okay. That's a good point. Fair point.
Yeah. I believe that I like the idea of thinking weeks. Haven't implemented it yet. I like to judge people by what they're doing, not by what they're saying. And helping the world with malaria is an amazing achievement. So for me, I would definitely pick Bill Gates. Do you know, I had a friend that worked in Apple, and he said, there is a high probability if you enter the elevator with Steve Jobs, until the moment that you leave the elevator, you won't be a part of this company, because the first thing he'll ask is, what are you doing in the company? And if he believes that he can do this as good as you or better than you, then the Apple doesn't need you.
Oh my God.
It's a true story.
Do you know why I like Bill Gates?
Why?
Because he takes something which is not fancy at all, and this is, the toilet. And he wants to innovate on that because it is important in some parts of the world. So important that it is a life and death decision. And I actually truly admire them. It's easy to take something which is sexy, like an iPad. Yeah. And market it.
Yeah.
But do it with the stuff which are difficult, which are taboo. I like this. Tell me, what is your favorite book on leadership?
It's The 7 Habits of the Highly Effective People. Because every leadership comes from within, and you should lead yourself first. And as a leader, you should be following as well. I believe that leadership is not about people following me, but about making others decide that they want to follow me. It's about what they really want to do, not what I ask them to.
Makes sense. And what is your favorite habit of the 7?
Is the 4th?
Which is it?
Always think win-win.
Oh, I love this one. Georgi, do you know where is your blind spot?
My general blind spots are pleasing others and avoiding conflict. And this is something that I'm working on, because if I don't work on them, they will grow bigger and prevent me from achieving what I really want in life. Both in podcast-wise and family-wise and relationship-wise.
I had this insight that blind spots that I have as a person actually affect the way I'm leading others. So I had to work on my personal issues so that I am a better leader in our organization. That was very interesting. I didn't expect it. But I can totally relate to the people's pleasing part. And in a way, the avoidance of conflict. Georgi, why did you accept my invitation? I think some people would think that maybe we're competitors.
I believe in recursion.
How so?
I've recorded 250 podcasts, starting from absolute zero with this iPad. On the table, talking with a friend. And I've reached the 5-year mark, knowing and believing firmly in the idea of opportunities which arise after you have did the iterations or the recursions. So many times that you become better and you don't need to knock on the doors, they open for yourself. And yeah, believing in win-win mentality and knowing that the Recursive podcast and the Superhuman podcast, they have the same goal to make the society in Southeastern Europe better, inspired, and
think bigger.
Yeah, thinking bigger. I think that joining forces is the best win-win tactics. So together we can do better.
I think we totally share this mindset. I like the idea of being cooperative and not against each other. And I also believe that if we do that, we actually open more opportunities and in fact, we make the cake bigger. So each of us has like a bigger piece. Yeah.
Having a podcast and getting audience is not a zero-sum game. As the business and all the innovators that are joining us for the next couple of 100 episodes.
We will do another, conversation when we reach the 100 mark. Looking forward to that. Yes.
Yeah. There's a book called Atlas Shrugged. It's about people that bring the value up. This
was the next thing that I wanted to bring up in the conversation. I feel like you're reading my mind. It's all about value creation, right?
And who creates the value? The guys that have the courage to try and the consistency to keep trying until they succeed, and then they leave their mark, just like Bill Gates, just like Steve Jobs, just like the guys here in Eastern Europe.
And if you're just as passionate about innovation as we are, hit subscribe for the Recursive podcast on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. We're everywhere.
Why did you start the media?
Because I like challenges. It's difficult and it's good for society. And I think it's important to do it with principles, with integrity.
What would you prefer, hot or cold showers?
Definitely hot.
An office or a home office?
I like both. Like 3 days a week in the office and then 2 days a week at home, where I can do my laundry in between.
Irina, what is the USP of Southeast Europe?
I think it's the crisis that we've been going through. I think crisis made people very street smart and hungry and creative about finding solutions. I was inspired of how out of the box most people here or the founders that I meet are thinking.
So the strongest trees are born where the strongest wind is, not where the best soil lies.
Yeah, similar.
Okay.
There is also another expression which I really like. I think it was by Peter Drucker, who said that innovation can come from unexpected places.
Welcome to the most unexpected places in Europe, Southeast Europe.
True.
Is there a founder you would really like to take out to dinner?
Yeah, let me think. I think Whitney Wolf from Bumble. I like people who succeed at the second time, maybe because I failed the first time.
Irina, is there a leader you truly admire?
That's a very difficult question. I think first one who pops to mind is Nelson Mandela. I really like the fact that he fought for what he really believed. He was never really a politician or an activist or philanthrope. He was just, someone who was driven by his own beliefs till the end, from the very beginning till the end. I like people with principles. And maybe Eleanor Roosevelt, if I have to think of a woman. She's also very inspiring. I like her quotes.
What about the fact that Mandela changed his beliefs?
In what sense?
In prison, I think he became from aggressive to non-violent person.
I think he changed tactics, not his beliefs. I think he somehow became wiser of how can he achieve what he's dreaming of.
A crisis.
Yes. A crisis is always a time where you totally exchange your paradigm.
Can you remember your hardest decision as a manager?
I think that was in the beginning of the Recursive, when I didn't know how it will go and I didn't know how I'm going to fund the whole project and nothing was clear. And I knew that people are behind me. And I was humbled by this responsibility. And at the same time, I thought, if I screw it up, I'm not screwing it up just for myself, but for other people. So it took me time to make this decision. I wanted to think it through.
Is responsibility the hardest thing about management?
No. I do grow with responsibility. I like taking responsibility. It makes me feel superhuman. I think the hardest part is managing yourself, leading yourself, as you said. You're in constant reflection on your blind spots. You're in constant reflection of your bad habits. And I think what it also takes is thinking about the principles that you want to introduce as a rule in the organization. Sometimes things don't bug you that much because you get used to that, but it makes a difference if you want to establish them as a principle for others. For instance, the way I'm treated as a woman, I'm used to all the stupid jokes and, the mansplaining and not being taken seriously as a leader, female leader. And I can deal with that. I can joke about it. But if someone challenges this in front of my colleagues, I will crush them. Because I don't want, the future leaders, those who are now in my organization, and I truly believe we are creating an environment for the future leaders. I don't want them to see that. I don't want them to learn from that. I want them to see someone who is actually fighting against and want to make a mark.
On to the failures, Irina. Tell me about your most wonderful one.
I think that was the time when I first found my kind of a startup. It wasn't really a startup company, like a scalable business. It was more like a lifestyle business. And I was really good at marketing it. So I would tell everyone about it. And they will be expecting it and they will be looking forward to it. But I had two co-founders who were actually responsible for developing the whole platform and filling it with content. And I didn't count on the fact that we will split at some point. So I was left with all the people asking me about my new project for 6 months. And every time when I had to explain why it didn't work out, I was like repeating to myself, "You're such a failure." It was, it was a lesson, definitely, but a good one. At least I learned how not to do things.
Most important lesson, isn't it? Irina, why did you name the media the Recursive?
Couldn't sleep one night, and then I discovered this word and I didn't know what it meant. And then I started reading and I was fascinated. So many people ask me, what does it mean? The simplest way that maybe I could explain it is with a comparison. So sometimes in life, I think you have the feeling you're going around in circles and you're doing the same thing again and again and the same mistakes again and again. And with a recursion, it's very similar, but when you repeat something, you actually become better. So you realize it's not a circle, it's a spiral. And this principle can be applied in so many ways, but also in innovation. When you think about it, every innovation of today is based on innovation of yesterday. So we become better over time. And it made me think how it is going to be in the future. How far we will get. So this is why I call it the recursive. And I also like the golden ratio, because the Fibonacci sequence is recursive, but that's my thing. I have this final question, and I think I would like to ask each of our guests this question at the end. And it would be, what do you want to be remembered for when you're gone?
I would like for people to remember me for changing their lives for better. It might have been something like very, very tiny and small. It might have been something bigger. I don't care. If I made an impact on people's lives, then my life was worth it.
I think that's a great mission.
Thank you. My last question for you is, if there is a person that you want to sit in my seat in the Recursive podcast in 5 years' time, who would that person be? Someone out of Southeastern Europe, of course.
I think this will be, I would like her to be a woman founder who has succeeded and excelled in something which is considered a male domain. Machine learning or data science. And I want her to have a discovery behind her that is contributing to a change in the whole world. Someone like that.
No particular name in mind?
We will still see who is that. But imagine the Ada Lovelace of Southeast Europe.
Sounds very interesting plan, and I will be keeping an eye on this person to arrive.
Tune in next week for the first episode of the Recursive podcast. Irina meets the Bulgarian co-founder of Office R&D, Miroslav Miroslavov.
At the end of the day, we want to see each other. I mean, it's good to see each other. It's good to have a physical contact with people. It's very natural at the end.
And if you're just as passionate about innovation as we are, hit subscribe for the Recursive podcast on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. We're everywhere.
Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer, they don't give a shit. They don't lose. Never, ever, ever, ever. I mean, they will die there literally, but they are not gonna let anyone else win. That's a huge difference. And I'm personally not exactly like this. I'm somehow too nice in many occasions, which helps, but it's also a concern, and it depends on the circumstances. So this may lead you to a very big success in some markets, but in other markets, certainly you'd better be like Djokovic and Nadal. Okay. You'd better be like them, because the others won't let you be nice there and win. They will just crush you completely.